As standalone films, the MCU is full of thrilling and exciting movies that continue to entertain. Whether you care about the larger Marvel timeline or not, there's no denying the problems associated with them. See the points where the movie screwed up and how there will only be more problems in the future. Before you watch, click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new Screen Rant content. Spider-Man blows up the timeline. The MCU started out strong with simple timelines and most movies taking place one after the other. Captain America's timeline was easy to set in place as a majority of the film took place in the 1940s. As we started entering multiple stages of the MCU, things got a little more complicated. And then Spider-Man came swinging in. The introduction of Spider-Man turned the straight timeline into a complicated web of continuity errors. One of the biggest issues with Spider-Man was the fact that the film states it takes place 8 years after the original Avengers incident. The main problem? The Avengers was set in 2012, which would put Spider-Man Homecoming in 2020, and things don't quite line up with Spider-Man's inclusion in Captain America Civil War and the Avengers Infinity War. Basically, the formation of Vulture and the young age of Spidey created problems with the timeline.
So there may be no way to make you trust me, but we need to go.
A Blurry Vision. Vision is one of the most sophisticated heroes in the MCU. He has a number of different powers and is extremely intelligent. Apparently, his math is wrong, he has a glitch, or the MCU producers screwed up a little, because Vision is responsible for a major timeline error seen in Captain America Civil War. In Civil War, Vision claims it has been 8 years since Tony Stark uttered the words,
"I am Iron Man."
While the years add up between the release of the first Iron Man and Captain America Civil War, the in-film timeline is less than 8 years. Because of the timelines established in films like Iron Man 2, Thor, and The Avengers, the total amount of time would be around 6 years. Vision's big mistake was likely an oversight by the filmmakers and one that creates confusing questions and lots of analysis about the timeline. Doctor Strange's journey. In Doctor Strange, the title character has a thriving career, gets in a horrific accident, and then goes through crazy measures to heal himself and earn all types of abilities as he becomes the hero we all know and love. The time from his injury and into a transformation into a reality-warping master of the Eye of Agamotto could seem like anywhere from several months to several years as you watch the film. Once you put the pieces together, you realize how quickly the Doctor was able to recover and train. The film clearly takes place in 2016, as we see the new Avengers Tower that appeared after the Age of Ultron. Some other small scenes show the year as well, but in the end credits scene, we see Doctor Strange meet up with Thor. The whole timeline ends up making Doctor Strange's journey only take place within a 9-month span. At least his condensed timeline issues only impact the individual movie and not the whole MCU. But then again, it could all be explained away with magic, because magic.
Here's what I need. A laptop, a digital watch, a cell phone, the pneumatic actuator from your bazooka over there.
Increase in productions. As the MCU reaches the end of Phase 3, things are only heating up for the MCU. Along with sequels and original films, the MCU will expand with more television shows and numerous properties based off heroes acquired through Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox. This means we'll have more productions per year and a really complicated timeline stuffed with material. The plausible of a big world event happening in one movie is hard to imagine when just a few months later something occurs in another MCU movie. At this point, fans in Marvel should give up on creating a cohesive timeline and just focus on enjoying the movies, as more of a standalone film with loose connections and assumed timelines.
Give me a break, fellas. You don't want to go to jail too, do you?
Captain Marvel. One of the biggest surprises with the development and announcement of Captain Marvel was the setting of the film. Captain Marvel will take place in 1990s as Marvel showcases their first female solo film. Setting Captain Marvel is an awesome way to showcase nostalgia and to temporarily avoid story complications with the Avengers, but her presence in the 90s brings a lot of problems. Why haven't any of the other Marvel heroes mentioned her or her adventures in the 90s? Nick Fury is supposed to have a big role in the film, but he has not mentioned her to the Avengers or in any of his cameo appearances. And Captain Marvel is set to take on the shape-shifting Skrulls, but those characters and their invasion on Earth has never even been hinted at in the MCU. Captain Marvel is just stuffed into a decade the films haven't explored, but largely ignores some of the bigger timeline questions. Introducing time travel. A year after Infinity War, Marvel fans will be marching back to theaters to enjoy the culmination of it all in the Avengers 4. The film is set to focus on time travel and could be a way to reset some of the Marvel timeline problems. In many ways, a film with time travel could create all new problems. Covering the complicated topic is hard to do in a 2-hour film, especially with some over-the-top action scenes thrown in. The fourth Avengers film is bound to create all kinds of layers to the timeline, and things we could overanalyze all day long. The ultimate goal will be to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the film for what it is. In the end, the timeline will be a huge mess, and something we ultimately cannot fix.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming.
Adding the XMen. When you're talking about timelines and crazy changes, you just have to look at the X-Men franchise for one big jumbled mess. With multiple trilogies, time travel, and spin-off films with various characters, the film series is nearly impossible to sort through. And now the MCU has a chance to take the whole X-Men franchise and blend it with their current characters. Adding the same characters as they currently stand would be a huge challenge. Just look at the multiple Quicksilvers alone. There are two options the MCU could take to avoid major timeline problems. Reboot the whole dang franchise within the MCU, or turn the X-Men into a multiverse property where their world and Earth are in an alternate universe. The X-Men would be part of Earth 2, while the Avengers as we know them are part of Earth 1. If not, we'll have major timeline problems that just can't be fixed. What timeline problem do you think is the worst? Are there any that we missed? How can the MCU fix the timeline, and should they even bother doing it? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos. Thanks for watching.